A guy is standing on a busy street corner, selling apple seeds to passers-by. Suddenly, a police officer approaches and, curious, asks, "Hey, what exactly are you doing here?" The man, with a confident grin, replies, "I'm selling apple seeds that make you smarter when you eat them." The officer raises an eyebrow. "Really? Do they actually work?" "Of course," the man says, nodding. "Why don't you buy some and find out for yourself?" Intrigued, the officer thinks for a moment. "All right, give me 5 seeds." "That'll be 10, sir," says the man, holding out his hand. The officer hands over the cash, eats the seeds, and waits. A couple of minutes later, he frowns and says, "Wait a second, I could have bought 10 apples with that money and gotten 20 or 30 seeds for free." The man smiles and nods enthusiastically. "See, they're working already." The officer, impressed, replies, "Wow, that's amazing. Give me 5 more." 0. A Yale law graduate starts his first day on the job. The president of the firm leans in and says with a sly grin, "If you marry my daughter, I'll make you a partner, give you an unlimited expense account, a brand new BMW, and a $2 million annual salary, on top of all your case fees." The guy raises an eyebrow and says, "I don't get it." "Is something wrong with her?" The president sighs, pulls out a photo, and she's, well, not easy on the eyes. The guy winces. He's never seen anyone quite like her. The president shrugs. "Yeah, she's a tough pill to swallow. I've never had the heart to tell her, though. And just so you know, she's not the brightest bulb in the box." The guy shakes his head. "Look, no offense, but I don't care what you're offering. This isn't happening." The president ups the ante. "All right, $5 million salary, a brand new BMW every year, and I'll throw in a mansion in the Hamptons." The guy reluctantly agrees, thinking, well, I can always keep the lights off. Fast forward a year, and the guy is about to hang an original Van Gogh on his wall. He climbs the ladder and yells down, "Hey, honey, grab me a hammer." She mutters to herself, get the hammer," and hands it to him. He calls out, "Now get me some nails." She mumbles, get the nails," and brings them over. The guy starts hammering, but accidentally slams his thumb. He shouts, "Damn it!" Without missing a beat, she mumbles, "Get the bag. Get the bag." 1. 3 passengers are on board a small twin-engine plane when suddenly one of the engines sputters and fails. The pilot quickly realizes that the plane won't make it over the mountains, and there's no safe place to land. After putting the plane on autopilot, the pilot hurries back to the passenger compartment and delivers the grim news. "Folks, the plane is going to crash. There's no way around it." He pauses, then adds, "And there are only 3 parachutes on board. I'm taking one." Without hesitation, he grabs a chute and jumps out, leaving the 3 passengers stunned. The remaining passengers, a CEO, a priest, and a Boy Scout, stare at each other in disbelief. Breaking the silence, the CEO speaks up, his voice full of self-importance. "I'm the CEO of 3 major companies. There are global projects counting on me. And I'm responsible for the livelihoods of thousands. Frankly, I'm probably the smartest man on earth. I deserve one of the parachutes." Without another word, he grabs a chute, straps it on, and jumps out of the plane. The priest and the Boy Scout are left alone staring at the last parachute. The priest, calm and composed, begins to speak. "My son, I am old and have lived a long, fulfilling life. I am ready for whatever comes next. You have your whole life ahead of you. Take the last parachute and save yourself." The Boy Scout smiles and says, "Relax, Father. We're both going to make it out of here." The priest looks puzzled. "But how?" The Boy Scout chuckles. "Remember that last guy, the smartest man in the world?" The priest nods slowly. "Well," the Boy Scout continues with a grin, "he just jumped out of the plane with my backpack." A wealthy businessman was riding in his limousine when he noticed two women by the roadside hunched over and eating grass. Perplexed, he ordered his driver to pull over and stepped out to investigate. He approached one of the women and asked, "Why are you eating grass?" The woman looked up with sad eyes and said, "We don't have any money for food. We're starving, so we have no choice but to eat grass." "Well, that's terrible," said the businessman, shaking his head. "You can come with me to my home, and I'll make sure you get something to eat." The woman hesitated and replied, "But, sir, I have a husband and two children with me. They're sitting over there, under that tree." "Bring them along," the businessman said warmly, gesturing for them to join. Then, turning to the other woman, he added, "You can come with us too." The second woman, looking desperate, said, "Oh, thank you, sir, but I also have a husband and 3 children." "No problem," said the businessman, smiling. "Bring them along too." They all piled into the car, squeezing into every available space, which was no easy feat even for a limousine. As they drove off, one of the women turned to the businessman, gratitude written all over her face. "Sir, you are so generous. Thank you for taking all of us with you." The businessman grinned and said, "No need to thank me. I'm happy to help, and you'll really enjoy my place. The grass there is nearly 2 feet tall." A married couple is cruising down the interstate, going 55 km/h, with the husband behind the wheel and a tense silence between them. His wife glances over, clearly upset, and says, "Honey, I know we've been married for 15 years, but I'm done. I want a divorce." The husband doesn't say a word, his face tightening, but his foot presses down slightly on the gas, pushing the car to 60 snasmaf. Undeterred, she continues, "And don't bother trying to change my mind. I've been seeing your best friend, and honestly, he's way more exciting than you." The husband's grip on the wheel tightens, and he remains silent, increasing his speed again as his knuckles turn white. She looks at him defiantly. "I'm taking the house." Still no response from him, only a quicker acceleration to 70 mph, the engine roaring louder. "And I'm taking the kids too," she adds, her voice colder now. The car surges ahead, and he's now pushing 80 mph, eyes fixed straight ahead, jaw clenched. "And by the way, I'm keeping the car, the savings, and all the credit cards." The husband silently steers the car toward the bridge overpass, inching closer to the massive concrete pillar. She turns to him, noticing his subtle move, and demands, "Is there anything you want?" Without breaking his stare from the road, the husband finally speaks, his voice calm yet firm. "Nope, I've got all I need." She scoffs. "Really? And what's that?" With a sudden swerve, now barreling at 90 mph toward the pillar, he smirks and replies, "The airbag." 4. A man was tired of working as a burger flipper at McDonald's. All day, every day, he made Big Macs, and in his head he would list off the ingredients: 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickle, and onion on a sesame seed bun. Over and over. 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickle, and onion on a sesame seed bun, until he was about to go insane. 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickle, and onion on a sesame seed bun. So he quit and got a job as a school bus driver. The first day, his boss comes to him to tell him his route. "Your first stop is a set of twins," he tells the man. "They are both a little on the heavy side, and they also share their name, Patricia. Then you have Ross. He is a good kid and means well, even if he is a little special. Your next stop is a boy named Lester Keese. He likes to sit up front. He also has a bit of a bunion problem and tends to pick at them, but he is really no trouble. And when you're ready to head out, your bus is the one at the back. You can't miss it. It's the one with all the Sesame Street characters on it." At this, the man looses it and throws his keys at his new boss. "Are you kidding me? I won't do it. I quit." "What is the matter?" asks the boss. "Two obese patties, special Ross, Lester Keys picking his bunions on a Sesame Street bus. I can't go back." 5. A policeman pulls over a driver who's swerving across the road and suspects him of being drunk. Stepping up to the window, the officer says, "Sir, I need you to take a breathalyzer test." The driver calmly reaches into his pocket and pulls out a medical card that reads, "This man is asthmatic. Please do not take his breath." The officer, slightly annoyed, then says, "All right, we'll need to do a blood test instead." Without missing a beat, the driver fishes out another card that says, "This man is anemic. Please do not take his blood." Now, visibly irritated, the officer grumbles, "Fine, we'll just do a urine test." The driver sighs, reaches into his glove compartment, and pulls out his Manchester United season ticket. The card reads, "This man is a Manchester United fan. Please do not take the piss."